2 weeks sold out before the play was even written. I didn't finish the script yet, and they sold out all the tickets. So when the run came, and then we had full houses, they began to think about the main season, and so they offered me the first slot of the main season that fall in 1978. And they announced an 8-week run. And before we opened, all the 8 weeks had sold out. We had packed houses for all the 8 weeks. And then they decided to extend it, so we moved from the Music Center to Hollywood. We moved all the way to the Aquarius Theater in Hollywood, and we stayed there for 11 months. This is a play, a play that attracted, that was 1,200 seats. So every night, 8 shows a week, we had 1,200 people in the theater. This is a beautiful space, by the way. I really love the Art Deco. It's perfect for Zoot. This is the kind of atmosphere, you know, that's part of the period. And the Art Deco look of the Aquarius Theater in Hollywood is exactly the same. It so happens that at that time, the cops decided to crack down on lowriders in East LA. They closed Whittier Boulevard. Zoot was showing already at the Music Center when the cops got tough on the lowriders, you know, in East LA. So they stopped all of the lowriders, no mas. So when Zoot moved to Hollywood, guess what? All the lowriders went to Hollywood. And they were lowriding up Hollywood Boulevard and then down Sunset Boulevard where the theater was, and then going around up again up Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, this is history, you know what I'm saying? To have Chicanos and their lowriders claiming Hollywood Boulevard saying, what are they? So it's amazing how these things happen. You know, I've always believed in the power of the arts. The power of the arts can transform society. And if poor people have anything, they have their artistry. This is what we know from the Mexican culture, the culture around the world. But you go into any village in Mexico, vas a encontrar artesanías. You're going to find people that are working their artisan skills, their genius. Whether it's, you take hardwood, you know, para fierro, or you take any piece of wood, álamo, whatever it is, and you make a sculpture out of it, then you paint it, and you take it to the mercado and you sell it. You find the creativity in the poorest people. That's all they have. They have their art, but they're able to make a living off of it. Or you find that they take conchas de armadillo and they turn them into musical instruments. And I think that that's a really important thing to acknowledge, is that the artistry of the people is how they express their humanity. And the Zoot style was part of the artistry of our young people in the 1940s. The way our young women dressed, the way that the young men dressed, this was part of their effort to try to say, I'm here and I'm human. And I've got ideas and I've got some style. Y también soy chingón. And so I wanted to capture all of that. I went to the theater because it was possible to work. Cesar Chavez started the United Farm Workers, and I was able to start a theater up by and for farm workers, working with people that never acted in their lives. Some of them couldn't even read and write, but they could improvise. And they were talking about things that were valuable to them. And that's how we eventually evolved in Teatro Campesino. In 1970, I wrote a play called Bernabé, and in it, there was a mythical section where the moon, the earth, and the sun appeared as mythical characters. En la cabeza de un loquito del pueblo called Bernabé. And so the moon appears as a pachuco. And I put him in a zoot suit with spangles, you know, for the stars, and his face was a white face. Y era la luna, mano. You know what I'm saying? Órale, vato, and he spoke like a pachuco, you know. And his sister was the earth. And the loco wanted to marry the earth. And so she was a soldadera. And the father was the rising sun, an Aztec god. And so eventually they asked the loco for his heart, and he dies, you know, he's reborn. But the thing is, what stayed with me was the figure of this Pachuco, the Luna. I said, this character is really interesting, he needs a play of his own. So when I was asked in 1977 to write a play for the Music Center, that's when I wrote Zoot. And I wanted to base it in the reality. So there's a lot of levels to this play. Some of it is mythology, some of it is actual history, some of it is political, and some of it is just cinematic fun, you know what I mean? Superhero stuff. So you gotta be prepared. And it's also a musical at the same time. También para acabarla, you know, it's a little musical. It's all those things at once. Now here's the thing, here's the ticket. It wasn't easy to make this into a film. We went to Broadway. This is the first Chicano play that ever got to Broadway. And we were at the Winter Garden Theater. The Winter Garden Theater is a theater with 1,500 seats. And I thought we had 1,200 seats in LA, and I was convinced, they convinced me that we could actually go to New York and open this Chicano play on the Great White Way and make a run for it, and we did. Now, if you've ever been to New York, if you've ever been to Broadway, you understand the Winter Garden is where they did West Side Story, My Fair Lady, Beatlemania. I mean, some of the biggest hits in the American theater. And then a pesky little play that followed us about cats. I don't know. It was there for 18 years. We were there for 5 weeks in the Winter Garden. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting myself into when I agreed to go to the Winter Garden. It's much too big. But anyway, we were there, man. We were there and getting packed in the house and getting standing ovations during previews. But the critics attacked it. It's as if they weren't ready to accept Chicanos in New York yet. And I mean, that's what it was. Because we were a hit in LA. It looked like we were going to be a hit in New York, according to the audiences. But as it turned out, the critics pulled out their fineros and sliced it, you know. He didn't kill us, so I came back and thought about making a movie. And so I wrote a treatment. And I imagined everything really in high contrast. You know, before Tim Burton revolutionized Batman, I had a movie of Zoot Suit that was like that. This is before Tim Burton now. The guy hadn't started making films yet. So I had the idea of the Pachuco riding on top of buildings, you know what I mean, flying through the air. You know what I mean? 1940s LA, you know, it was like a cartoon, man. It was like Spider-Man going down the buildings. That's what I had in mind. And then going into the courtroom and then into the prison. And so I presented this to some producers. And they said, you're talking about a $20 million movie here. You'll never make it. And so I tried to sell it around town. Nobody wanted to buy it. Too much money. So finally, when I finally did get a deal at Universal, they said, we're going to give you $1 million to do this. But that's it. That's at Universal Studios, you know. By that time, the average was around 25 million, 30 million, a movie. I got 1 million. Not only that, they said, we're going to give you 13 days to shoot it. Okay, $1 million in a studio, which is nothing. Independent, there might have been something, but this is $1 million and 13 days to shoot it. So what did that offer us? The opportunity to shoot the play. And they actually wanted me to shoot the play on videotape. The funky videotape, you know, of the 1980s. They wanted me to shoot it on videotape and then blow it up to 35 millimeter. And they showed me a Gong Show movie, and it was terrible. And I said, look, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do it this way. And finally, when I got a cinematographer, Davey Myers, my photographer, my DP, he shamed them. He said, what do you mean you want to shoot this thing on videotape? You're crazy. This is a movie, you know? So finally they relented, and they gave me Panavision cameras, 35 millimeter. But I still had 13 days to shoot it. So they gave me 3 cameras. And so we set them up. And where did we shoot it? At the Aquarius Theater. I decided then that what I had to do was to shoot the play. But not straight on. Not like a dead, you know, frozen long shot. I had to get into the action. And so what you're going to see is a movie that is part play and part movie. We go into the mind of the lead character, which is Henry. But at the same time, we pull back out from time to time and then go back in. So it's very stylized. You can see Eddie Olmo starring as the Pachuco, El Pachuco. This is his first starring role. Nobody had ever given him a leading role in any motion picture till he did Zoot Suit. I gave him his first starring role. After this, he did Blade Runner, okay? Because they saw him in this, and then they gave him some real parts. And since then, I mean, he's an activist, he's a brother, he's a committed Chicano, and so I'm really proud of what he's done with his career. He was great. You're also going to see the late, great Lupe Ontiveros, who played the mother. She just died a couple of years ago, and she had a wonderful career portraying criadas, and, you know, too many maids, you know. But she had a tremendous amount of talent, and you see her vitality here. You're going to see Tony Plana, you know, young Tony Plana. He plays fathers, you know, older people now, but he was so he plays a young brother here. You're going to see my carnal Daniel Valdez portraying Henry Reina. And you're going to see a whole bunch of actors and dancers that were part of the original company, because I took people directly from the stage into the movies. And we shot this sucker in 13 days, okay? We just made it under the wire. And we had our big splash at the Cinerama Dome in Hollywood. It was a big, they spent more money on the party to celebrate the opening of this play than they did on the movie. That's Hollywood, you know, it was crazy. It didn't make a lot of money because it was too weird. People didn't know what to make of it. We had a big opening night, television was there, Cab Calloway came. I don't know if you know who Cab Calloway is. He was one of the original Zoot Suiters, man. And I was honored that Cab Calloway came to the opening of Zoot Suiters, you know. And others, you know, but the fact is that people looked at it and said, what is this thing? It's not one thing or the other. It's not a movie, it's not a play, what is it? Well, over the years, what's happened is that Zoot Suit, because it is sort of rooted in its own juices, has lasted. And I hope that you see it that way. If you don't, let me know after the movie. Because I think that there's a way that Zoot Suit has somehow managed to hold its freshness. And so every new generation of people that have seen, some of you weren't even born when it was made, nevertheless are seeing a fresh film. And I think that's a lucky accident. I'm very happy to happen that way. So I'm going to let you see the film and judge for yourself. And if you have any questions, talk to me after the film, okay? Ready? All right, Zoot Suit.